Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about the mentality and turning around any business. I'll share with you what it takes to turn around pretty much any business out there. Now, it's really worth checking out if you have a business and want to grow it, or if you want to buy a business, or if you want to sell a business, or advise in a business acquisition transaction when you present the buyer or the seller, because it will help you recognize very fast what is a good business versus not, and what it takes to create a new business or a better business for one who's not performing the best. And look, at this point, we've done almost $1 billion worth of transactions in acquisitions.com and rollups.com. We worked and looked at thousands of companies at this point, and the data that we have in the last 15 years is there to really help you and tell you that, like, we've seen a thing or two about companies, so we know what it takes to be a good versus a bad companies, and what companies are getting the highest valuation at exit and what don't. Right? So let's start with, and I'll share on my iPad, right? So the first thing you need to look at is the purpose of the business, right? So what that means, look, in the end of the day, the best companies have some kind of an intention or objective. And those who decline, like the companies that decline, pretty much lost it or gave up on it. Like the entrepreneur, the owner, the CEO gave up on the purpose of their business. So if you want to turn the situation around, it's time to reset. You need to reset your goals. You need to visualize some kind of a new mental image of what you want that business to be. Then after that, you can actualize it, right? Those companies that forget why they're in business, they just decline, they go down, they stop chasing clients, they stop trying to improve every process in the business, right? So what's your purpose? Like, how can you change your purpose to a new purpose, to reset into a new purpose? How can you go on the offense versus pulling back? Like a lot of business owners, when the business starts to go down, they take a step back, they contract, they don't put as much effort, they lose confidence, and when you lose confidence and certainty, you go down, right? Most businesses business owners will contract when they meet some kind of a crisis and there's some turnaround opportunity. They'll stop growing, versus other companies at the same time with the same challenge will innovate. They will listen more to their customers. They will cut costs more when needed in order to create the right impact to save the business, right? So what is it for you? Start with visualization. Right? And I'm sorry, writing and talking and at the same time is not that easy, right? But begin by writing down your purpose. Why are you in business? What's your vision, mission, values? What vision you have for your business? And how will it look like and feel like when you have successfully overcame this challenge that you're working through right now, this breakpoint? And how can you use this challenge situation and use it to your advantage? Right? And then, so I have a vision, mission, and new values. Reset everything, and then create some milestone goals and KPIs to track those, to help you accomplish this purpose above, and to also be able to measure, right? And categorize them into personal goals, financial goals, professional goals, right? And have those goals in each of those. So that's the first thing, purpose. Let's move to the second thing. The second thing that I see in the best companies, or that is needed in companies that need to do a turnaround, is what we call reflection, right? So what that means, right? It means that the best entrepreneur, the best business owners, the best CEOs, or those who need a turnaround, they need to study their past. So you need to study, we all need to study our past selves. We need to study what advice we got in the past, and we need to commit to not doing the same mistakes that we've done in the past again, and to not repeat things that didn't work to us in the past, right? It's also about removing negative influence from your life. If it's bad mentors, friends, employees, clients, what can you remove, right? Or what are you doing as far as reflection overall on your performance in the business? Are you even reviewing your past performance? Because if you're going to review your past performance once a year, guess what? You only have one chance to improve the business. If you look in once a day, you'll have more chances. If you look in once an hour, you'll have even more chances. Right? So you want to understand the details on what worked and what didn't, And if you're not happy with the results, what are your limitations? Like, what's the bottleneck? What's holding you back? Start to reflect and look at the data and ask yourself also, like, do you have the courage in yourself to remove these past lenses, to say, okay, I'm removing my emotions, I'm looking at the data, let's see what worked and what didn't. So the best business owners, they use reflection. They go to the present self and they see what can I do to make the best decisions to guide their right priorities moving forward. You ask yourself what is working, right? What's working? What didn't? Ask yourself, what you done last thing that didn't work? Who should you talk to? What your future self will do in this situation? What part of the business you have no control of that you should take control of right now? And guess what? You need to do it in all departments of business. So if it's sales, if it's marketing, right? If it's products, if it's customer success, support basically, and of course things like finance, IT, and legal. Right? So where are you investing time, money, energy? Because a lot of us, many times, we work on the right problem but on the wrong way, or we work on the right problem the right way, or we work on the wrong problem the wrong way, or we just work on the wrong problem the right way. You see what I mean? So are you even spending time on the right thing, on the right bottleneck in your business? Because you might just work on something that is not even effective or not going to help you. So usually it comes down to, in the business, like, are you working on getting leads, converting leads, and retaining clients with better product delivery? Those are usually one of the main 3 bottlenecks in the business. So what are you doing in your case? Ask yourself questions like, what mistakes have you made that created the business existing conditions, right? What situations have been created due to the assumptions that you had in the past? Where and by whom were you getting guidance and advice in the past? What were the milestones that the business was able to create and not create, right? You gotta ask yourself all those questions, like, what areas of the business do you have little to no control over? What business goals are you not accomplishing? And by the way, all those questions and more, if you want, we can send you probably all those different questions. Email support@acquisitions.com and we'll send them to you. Ask yourself, is the business right now is on track to accomplish the goals and objectives that we have? So if you could paint a picture of your future self, what would that specifically look like, and what would your future self do differently? Okay? All right, so reflection. Next one. The next thing that is needed in most businesses to turn them around is what we call a new standard. The best thing you can do is to see any crisis as an opportunity to expose what you already should be doing, or break through big challenges that you have, like poor operations, false belief, or maybe just dragging the wrong people along you, right? And it's when you then lean and find your strengths and you let go of weaknesses that you can become stronger in a bigger and better business. And it's the businesses who survive those crisis moments who could really thrive and eventually scale. But most business owners that I know of experience some kind of crisis moments that eventually, if they stayed in business, build them and made them much better. So in your case, what can you do to set a new standard? If it's understanding your team, right? Who's on your team that is committed? Right? Understanding your team is essential to bring those new opportunities into fruition, right? So support your team as much as possible. A lot of people are scared versus adapting or pivoting, right? And it's having the mentality to accept that the new normal is now the new normal, and recognize that the new things that you need to do. So what can you do to create resilient operations through different processes, right? So what processes can you create to create that new standard and set that new standard? What can we do as far as measurement, right? Because we want to measure the new processes and new standard, and then we want to rally on the team in the most important outcomes, right? So what are the outcomes that are now being expected from the team? The more clear and concise you can be, the better things will be in business, right? So what can you do to create standard operating procedures, or what we call SOPs, and putting your team accountable into those if they don't meet the outcomes required, right? So we gotta create some kind of a new accountability. So are you checking in daily, weekly, monthly? How are you checking in and keeping your team accountable? And how can you duplicate your best top 10% team members and duplicate them and make that the new standard, right? So what are you doing? You need to write down the steps for SOPs. You gotta write down the steps, right? What is required? What your top 10% team members are doing? Who is your best and how can you duplicate that, right? So write the steps, write down the KPIs that are needed to determine the right outcomes, because whatever you can measure, measure and be hyper focused and create some kind of a precise performance measurement to empower the team. Okay, so that's the third one. Let's move to the fourth one. Fourth thing that the best companies are doing, or what is needed in companies to turn them around, is what we call data tracking and I guess measurements in general, right? So when we work on all those things, we need to make sure that we're not becoming overwhelmed, because when we're overwhelmed and confused, we're gonna make stupid mistakes. So again, if you're in a challenging environment in business, you want to take advantage of it. If you're scared, it will affect the team and the customers and you will go down. You need to have certainty, you need to have confidence. It's not time for confusion. Right? I don't care if you believe in a higher power, in God, in the universe, in light, but you gotta lean on that source if needed, on your family, on whatever you can to bring in certainty. The last thing you need at challenging and crisis moments is uncertainty and doubt. So again, focus on better processes, more data tracking, and give context to the team on how their actions and measurements affect the whole team results. You want to set targets, right? So what targets are you doing? You want to track performance, and you want to know, are you hitting your goals or not? And when you're off track, make changes, right? That's what businesses to survive understand. The more tracking you have and the more you check, the faster you can make the changes. If you check daily, like I said, you can make changes daily. If you check yearly, you can only make changes yearly. So steps here, determine what are the most impactful processes in your business and make sure you put some kind of a tracking in place. And list the sequences of steps, of course, needed in the SOP to make sure that every process like that is being executed well. And put responsibility, give what we call a key person or responsible person per SOP. Have a goal for each SOP or each role and track it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis. All right, we move into step number 5. What the businesses do, or the businesses that need turnaround, what they're doing is they're doing what we call duplication. The best businesses are the best at duplicating, right? Because when you have all the above, this is the time to take those who are your top performers, who think and do and bring ideas, and you ask yourself, okay, how can we transfer data? How can we now transfer all the information that those guys have into other people, right? From those top people to everyone else. And the more you can do it and the faster you can do it, the more successful you'll be in business. So how you do it, you take your top people and you tell them, hey, you now go and train 2 to 4 people and you replicate their results, and you even give them maybe a small percentage override on their new team members' results. In the end of the day, business is simple. If you want bigger business and not have a business on your own, like a one-man show, you must learn to do it, because business is about people. Big businesses have a lot of people. So you gotta learn how to find, attract, lead, retain employees if you want to scale. How do you do this? Again, you break down each process. You document them in what we call some kind of a Loom video plus SOP and documents. You role play. You or your key team members role play all the time and practice with others until their results are being duplicated. And when that happens, you hire 2-4 other people and you perfect the same process with them. And you track data with everyone and you develop yourself and then develop others, and your team will then develop everyone else. Because to grow and scale, you gotta do it through people. You can't do it by yourself. When you by yourself, you do it record whatever you can do well, record it. Whatever your team members can do well, record it, and train everyone else on the same process. And then, if you can do it again and again and again to as many people as possible, it can be unlimited to how much you can scale, right? Assuming that your product is ready for that. Number 6 is leadership. Lack of leadership ability puts a limit on the business in the end of the day. People will leave you if you can't help them grow. And the higher your belief is, the higher you achieve, and the higher and more qualified people you will get to your team. The most effective you are, and the more you contribute, the more impact you'll create in business. And then you should always, to be the best leader, you should work side by side with your team to show them with intent and detail the most efficient and successful way to excel with other people is to show them as much as possible in detail to help them excel in their roles. It's your number one responsibility as a leader is to help everyone else. So what are you doing? Are you doing everything possible to help your team to do their work the most effective way? Because successful leadership is accomplished through the duplication of your success. And also, of course, inspiring and influence everyone else about the possibilities that are possible with your business. Because everything in your business will rise and fall in your ability to influence others. So ask yourself, what are you doing to ensure the best process duplication with your team? And how can you make sure that there's attention to details to duplicate exactly what you're doing as the owner? And that brings me to step number 7, which is removing bad apples. So what that means? It means that you must identify the best people, like we said. You find why they work, what they work on, how to leverage their best practices. But we also remove those who are not giving value to the business. Right? We gotta find those who are reckless and those who don't have a good intention. Like you gotta ask about your people. Is he a doer? Is he a thinker? Like is he thinking? Is he doing? Is he taking positive or negative action? Is he providing results for the business? And also, can we say that these actions are aligned with the results that we want for the business? Or it's just random actions doing random stuff? Also, is he thinking in an aligned way on the big picture of the business? Remember the purpose, the vision in the beginning? And also, if he's aligned with the business, does he have experience getting the results that you want from him? And if you don't have the experience, can you teach him to get that experience and get the results that you want? Because I don't care how positive it is, if he's not getting you the results, it's a business, it's not a charity, right? But if you have people who only think and don't do and don't take action, then it won't help. You gotta let them go, right? Also, people that do, there's a lot of people that are reckless doers who just do things on their own and they are not aligned with the vision, and they'll put your business in danger if you allow them to stay. Right? So you gotta ask yourself, is he taking action? Is he just watching everyone else? Is he a drainer? You gotta identify those people and really think who are those people that need to stay in the business and who not. Every fast growing company is gonna have a lot of turnaround of people. So you gotta be okay with that. And it's crucial because people make the difference in businesses. You must streamline your operations with the right people in order to help you grow and thrive. Because high performance, highly aligned team is crucial for a good business. And guess what? Like you as the owner, you might be a drainer and reckless and so you gotta look at yourself first, have self-awareness, like don't expect others to do things that you don't demonstrate yourself, right? So work on yourself first, but then get rid of drainers and watchers and people that don't add value to the business and keep it unemotional. This is business, right? And if you believe you have those people in your business right now, you can give them the last chance. You can set meetings with them. You can reset the expectations because maybe it was your responsibility. You didn't train them enough. You didn't set the expectations right. But you got to talk to them and tell them what is required from them to be successful in the business with the new standards, and provide them with the right KPIs to follow that they will report on and for you to track on. It will be super essential to provide growth through the business. So yeah, that's my process. Hopefully it's valuable for you. I love you. Bye bye.